people even pick up anymore if they don't know the numbers?
He knows my number. Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you are live on the air with Paul and Dave in the Immersive Lens recording.
All right. Hi, everybody. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
All right.
Listen, we just need 30 seconds of your time. We know you went to go see Toy Story 5, so just give us the lowdown real quick.
Don't give any...
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. No, absolutely not. This is the best Toy Story movie since 3, so I guess it's just better than 4. But no, it was really good. It was really good. We enjoyed it. I think they figured out a way to not make it around a really weird, obsessive villain. I think that they made something really interesting here. And I think fans of the series will have a lot to enjoy. I really have nothing bad to say about it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a good summer movie and real good.
How many stars out of 5?
I would give it a 4.5. It was really good.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I have no complaints. And I'm a technology. This is a technology podcast. You'd think I would come out being like, "Oh, they just hate all technology." No, they did a good job of really understanding how to balance it.
All right.
As a dad, I appreciated it. Yeah.
Well, thanks for picking up the phone.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Now, that was Jeff Dugan. Now, rumor has it that Jeff Kidd also saw
all the Jeffs.
Toy Story 5.
That's correct.
So, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Dugan that it's better than 4, for sure, but I didn't think it was that good.
So not a 4 or 5.
Out of 5, I would say maybe a 2, 2.5.
Wow.
Maybe. Yeah.
Now, is it your point of view or the kid, like your kids, or did you go solo?
No, we took my kids, just my kids and our 4-year-old. Our 4-year-old loved it. He thought it was great. Which is probably all that matters. That's the audience. It was the first half or more is just really slow. It took a while to get there.
Okay.
That's my biggest complaint.
So so it was a little long.
Yeah, well, not long. It's an hour and a half, but the first half is like all exposition. It's like all like setting everything up. Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Well,
so 2 and a 4.5. So that's 6.5 out of 10. So that's like a 3.25.
Yeah, I was gonna say around a 3. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I just went through all my contacts and different Jeffs because I wanted to get a third Jeff to kind of like settle this. But I don't think that any of these Jeffs would answer my call.
So, thank you, Jeff Kidd.
Thank you, Jeff Kidd.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, welcome to the Immersive Lens, the podcast exploring the technologies reshaping how we live, work, and learn.
From AI and virtual reality to creative media and design, and now we're in the business of movie reviews. We're diving into the tools and ideas shaping our connected world.
Is it just movie reviews by Jeffs?
Yes, it's a very niche market. Movie reviews by Jeff.
My name is Paul Engin. Join us as we uncover the people and ideas driving the next wave of interactive experiences.
And I'm Dave Ghidiu. This is the Immersive Lens.
So, Dave, what are some hot takes? I have one that is pretty relevant.
Bring it. Let's kick it off with this new one.
Oh, what a great intro!
I really teed you up for that.
You did. You teed me up. The FIFA World Cup is going on right now. And one of the things that I noticed that was really cool is the video assist referees and the semi-automated offsides technology. So SAOT and the VARs. And it was interesting because when I looked at it, they don't stop the game. They let the game play on, but it's real-time 3D like analysis of if the player was offsides or not.
That is wild and scary, but is it accurate?
Yeah. So apparently what they do is they have sensors in the ball, and we were talking about this earlier. There's a counterbalancing, and they mentioned that they've brought players in and the players can't even detect which is the ball with the sensor and which isn't.
Interesting.
And the sensor is updated, 500 times a second.
That's a lot of times a second.
And it tracks the location of the ball on the field, but it also the impact. So whether it was like a pass, and they can calculate the hard shot. So if you like picture a sound wave, it gives these little spike data points
For if it's
hit or
okay.
if there's a connection. So they track it like that. But the real time offsides technology, they have cameras all around the stadium, and it tracks the player. And it's interesting because I'm seeing this more and more, but it does. If you can picture dots, and it tracks,
I can picture dots. Yes,
you can picture dots. So picture a dot on the shoulders,
okay,
a head, all the limbs,
okay,
and it connects those dots. So you have like a small like
a wireframe
okay. of the player, and so that's how they can kind of dictate and then place the 3D model of that player in that exact position.
And then that's how they tell.
And then they can tell, and then they can put the bar in with the ball, with the cameras, they can pinpoint exactly where the players are at impact.
Have you read anything like, has there been any chatter? So we talk a lot about how technology sometimes changes humans based on like the screen size or whatever.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this has changed because now we're so precise with offsides that referees might be making, or there might be calls that otherwise would not have been made by referees if it was like close, or if it was like they weren't quite sure. So is this changing at all? Is it palpable?
So I think the way they've said it and the way they've structured it is actually interesting, because they say that the referees all have the mics. So there's an automated audio cue that says they were offsides or not offsides. And then it's up to the referee to make the final decision.
Yeah.
So they're just telling them what they're seeing, and then there's verification. There's people looking over
so
things
we're not
as well.
abdicating.
Right. But it is pretty amazing how they can do it in real time. When I saw their generic 3D models, that was funny. I was like, I wonder if next World Cup they'll have 3D. Yep. They'll have 3D. So it'll be the actual player's 3D model versus like just a gray, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So right now there's not a lot of resolution. It's just like a generic person.
It's a generic person. I think they do have the jersey number. Like it's just a generic jersey. The jersey texture with the number, but it's a generic like gray figure in the. But I could see them being like, okay, we're going to 3D scan everybody.
I mean, they probably already have them from like FIFA 26 and like all those games.
All the games. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Sure they do.
This would be wild if you could be playing, say, your Sony PlayStation, and you're streaming the game live, and then you want to like stop it and like take over play like at the halftime, and you can run like your own simulation.
Yeah. I mean, and it's crazy to me because they have enough cameras where they could do holographic. Like you could be looking down at a table, and technically you could track all the players. So it could be like a 3D representation of all the players in real time.
So speaking of like all these data and analytics, are these players wearing any device that can capture like their heart rate, their blood pressure? And because like now you are getting enough data where you can basically make a simulation or a creation. This is wild.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they all wear the data trackers for, it's like the vest, and then they put it underneath. But I'm not sure if what they have specifically, let's see. So it has to be FIFA certified. So I'm not sure if it's like
if it's the
up to the player if they want to do it or not.
I bet their coaches make them.
Yeah.
And I do recall an interview with an umpire, because they were toying around with some of the similar technology to a lesser degree with calling balls and strikes. And
that's right. Yeah, they have the automated. Yeah.
And there was like an umpire in an interview. He's like, well, sometimes like if the game is going a little bit longer, we might be a little bit stringent with like calling a ball versus a strike. So that having that human element kind of helps a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, I don't think we always want to have someone reviewing to confirm the decision.
Yes. And I don't really watch sporting. So, but also, no, I don't want that. I don't want there to be people saying, well, this official was biased. Yeah. I want an unbiased opinion. But again, that's just me. Like, what do I know? I don't know.
I mean, and it's the nuance. I mean, you see like a shoe, because they put a virtual 3D rectangle across. And so you can see like the defensive player and then like you could see the shoe, and if it breaks the plane of the defensive
by like a centimeter,
by a centimeter, then it's offside.
It must be changing the feel of the game at some level.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it was interesting because there's a lot of technology like this. I know like hockey had the pucks for a while that had
but
that
the fans
sensor.
didn't like them. The fast tracker or fast puck or whatever it was called, and it left a blue streak so you could see it. Which, to be fair, like I've been to like maybe 3 hockey games in my life, and I always lose the puck. I'm like, I don't know where it is.
Right.
So like I have an affinity for that, and that was, by the way, stolen from video games. Like there's been an awful lot of stuff on video games is translated to sports. Yeah. Like the circles that go around the players, or even the camera angles.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's your hot take?
I have 2. One is that this is just another AI, a cautionary tale about AI. So Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, The Verge ran a piece, and this actually made all the news outlets, where people could hack into Instagram accounts that were not theirs, including some high profile accounts like, I don't know, President Barack Obama's old White House account, the U.S. Space Force Chief Master's account, and Sephora. And they would basically go to the AI and say, hey, I'm trying to get into my account. I'm the official Sephora account. Can we change the email to Dave Ghidiu at AOL.com or whatever?
Uh-huh.
And then you can just send me a password reset link. And the AI was like, yeah, I got you. So like that was,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So they think that it was only,
this is for all Facebook's or Meta's accounts.
It seemed to only affect Instagram, but it was still like 20,000 people.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that was AI just, that's what happens. And of course, Meta was like, well, there's a bug in there, but yes, there was a bug.
That is correct.
And this comes off the heels of laying off, I think Facebook laid off like 6,000 people in their AI division.
Oh my God.
Or they reassigned them. Maybe it wasn't in their AI division, but there were an awful lot of people. I think their customer service that would have otherwise caught this.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. Because then they would have mitigated. It's that it's interesting. Conversation for the future, but it's that gatekeeper that is no longer gatekeeping.
Yeah. There's no human in the lead in that.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yes. And the other cautionary tale I have is for a long time, we've looked at very specific LLMs. So for instance, in the medicine field, there's one called Open Evidence, which is trained on the Journal of American Medicine and like all these high end journals. And so for a year or two, we've always thought that they were outperforming, say, ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. But there was just a study that showed they basically used Open Evidence and generated responses, and then gave the same prompt to Claude and and ChatGPT and Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had all these responses, and then they showed these responses to doctors, and 0% of the time did they prefer the Open Evidence. So the machine that was trained on medical journals was less accurate than the general ones.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Is it because the general ones took the general knowledge, and so there's inference in the, it's the same logic as that if you're hyper focused on exactly one thing, then you don't have any other things to pull from.
Yeah, that's almost exactly what it is. So the training methods and the inference, and I think part of it was when you have that narrow scope, then maybe you don't get the context, and maybe if you're pulling the wrong information, it's way more catastrophic.
Gotcha.
So those are two things. They're in the show notes.
Okay.
Yep.
Open Evidence.
Yes, Open Evidence. So and my gut says that we'll probably find that in other domains too.
Okay. All right. So let's get into the deep dive. So we're going to kind of piggyback off of something that you mentioned in your closing remarks at the AI second annual convening.
The second annual community convening of
that's right.
AI and other wonderful things.
The future of AI, and we're going to talk about predictions and rationale for these predictions. Does that sound like a plan?
It does. It's actually nervous now that it's being kind of like cemented into like digital technology. So now people can call me out in 6 months and be like, Dave, you were way off.
Yes. But to your defense,
yes,
I also agree with your assessment.
You and I arrived at them independently.
Yes, because when I saw this, in my session, I brought up 3 of the things that you actually mentioned as a future AI prediction, and one that I didn't think about, but it's interesting, and I could see it being where we go to.
Yeah. And some of these are very easy. Like I think I was talking about these in the scope of like, hey, this is your homework assignment, folks. So when you come back next year,
Right.
like you should have spent some time playing with this. So, but it was really just like a prediction in disguise.
So why don't you talk about the 4 in general, and then we'll start. I was thinking we could start with, one of them and kind of work our way through all 4.
Okay, I will just name them then.
Okay.
Number 1, agential workflow. So this would be having agents or swarms of agents. So basically like AI bots kind of doing things on your behalf. The second thing is outputting your final product from conversations with AI as an HTML, as a web page. And we'll get more on that later because that might need more information.
Yes.
The third is Retrieval-Augmented Generation, otherwise known as RAG, which is when you give AI, say, like 20 documents. So for in my case, that might be like all the chapters of the Python book I use. And then when you ask AI questions, it pulls only from those 20 documents.
Yeah.
And then the last one is local large language models. So like hosting your own AI on a device. So you don't have to have it hooked up to the internet. You don't have to have people like you don't have to rely on big tech. And we'll talk about why that's good and maybe why that's bad in a little bit.
Sounds good. So why don't we start off with the output in HTML? I think that this is one that I did not originally have in my session, but it was an interesting idea. And do you want to expand on it?
Yeah. So this was when you're working on a project, it doesn't even have to be a project, but sometimes you might make a pamphlet or PDF, or you're just kicking the tires and you're trying to get ideas. So it might be, for instance, again, using Python, I might say like, hey, what are like 5 different ways I could teach loops in Python? And today we usually just get like, oh, well, you could do this, you could do this, you could do C, you could do D, and it will give you like text. And you can say, oh, great, can you please make this whole conversation into an HTML document? And that's basically like a web page. Right. And the nice thing about that is LLMs are very, very good at making websites. And this gives you a new way to look at the information because you can click on things that's interactive. It can, expand different, we call them accordions in the biz, or you can have, you would actually, I'll let you talk about what you did because it was really, really cool. But it's just a different way to interact with information. It's a lot quicker and it's a lot cleaner and it's a lot neater.
Yeah. And I agree with this. When you mentioned that, I was like, okay, I could see that because you said, I almost feel like it would be better than using a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Because you could do more and engage more with people.
PowerPoints look very static compared to like a website.
Right. Right.
And you need to talk about what you did because I thought that was really, really cool.
So after the sessions, you asked for the PowerPoints, but in our podcast, the follow-up podcast, you mentioned you'd almost prefer a website.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, I had the free version of Claude. So I was somewhat limited, but I brought it into the PowerPoint that I created for the session. I brought it into Claude and I said, let's create a single page PowerPoint, keep it in the same style and break each screen into its own page. But I do not want to have to load separate HTML files.
So it's one file.
It's one file
that has like 15 slides, but it's not really slides, like 15 different websites that scroll to the next one.
Right.
And this will actually be in the show notes too at theimmersivlens.com. And you've got to see it because you basically made presentation software.
Yeah. It created a back and next. And it was iterative process, right? So it created it. It was pretty blocky. So then I said, okay, can you make sure that it is responsive and accessible? Because you mentioned that this needs to be accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So it did that for me. And then I said, it was still pretty static. And I said, can you give it transitions so we can move from one slide to the other slide a little bit more gracefully? And it did that. And then, so it did 99% of everything. And then I mentioned to you, I went in and then I opened the code and I refined a few things, just because it would be quicker than me asking it to go, on slide 6, can you change X? Can you change Y? Can you?
But you could have done that if you didn't know HTML.
Correct. I could have done that. And so I was really happy. And after I did that, I got to thinking, I was like, I think I might move more, to your point, more toward now I could clean it up even more, because what it's trying to do is it's trying to, like, design wise, like, fill the screen with some of the media a little bit more.
Yeah. So maybe the layout could be, and also you have a huge background in design and layout.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't, and I think this looks fantastic. And what you can't see right now, folks, is I'm resizing it, because sometimes when we look on a phone, it's a little bit different. And that's one of the shortcomings of, say, a PDF or a PowerPoint, is when you look at it on a phone, it's really small text or it doesn't flow. But the outputting it as HTML is just so natural on any device. And it also really circumvents the whole issue of accessibility. Like, PDFs are notoriously difficult to make accessible.
Right.
My guess is you could even use Claude to make this accessible if it weren't already, but it looks like it is.
Yeah. I mean, and it does a great job. It goes from a single column or double column or quad, 4 columns to a single column when it's in mobile view. And
one of the other things I like about it is, with PowerPoint, whenever I'm presenting, I have like the little hand remote.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you made it so that the keyboard, the arrows would advance.
I didn't. I originally just had a click for next, but then you brought it up.
Yeah. Because when I was looking, I was like, oh, the arrows work, which means the clicker works. So you could use this as present. You created presentation software, which is fantastic.
And it's all one document.
Yeah.
Now, this is the one thing I want to ask you, though. So we host this on a server.
Mm-hmm.
Where will, like, that's the one thing I'm not sure. Like, how will people know? You know what I mean? Like, where can it host? Like, that's going to be that little, they can create it pretty easily, but then how do they give it to other people to see?
Yeah. Well, listen, the future's not written, Paul.
Yeah.
So this is a business opportunity. There's a few different ways. Like, you could take the vibe coding course starting this fall at FLCC, completely online. No prerequisites required. But there's other ways. Like, you can email an HTML file and double click on it, and it becomes a website. Or there's this really cool site. I'll put it in the show notes. Thank you. Where you can upload the code to this website, and it really just it converts it to like base 64 in the URL, so that then you just pass people that URL and it is your website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And now, I just got Claude yesterday, the paid version, so I'm starting to get into it. But I could have swore that there was an option for me to share the code, like there was a share option.
You can.
Does that mean that Claude is hosting it, or is it just giving it?
It's making an artifact, yeah, and you can embed it as well. So
then I could give that URL to somebody, and they would be able to see the webpage or the Claude prompts. And
it depends on, if you just share the chat, then yes, it's the chat. If you publish it as an artifact, the URL then is just the website.
Oh, so that could be the answer.
Yeah, and Gemini also has that vertical where they have Firebase and they can host it that way. I don't know how ChatGPT and Codex solves that problem. I don't know that they have.
Okay.
But I think this is.
I could see it going there, though. I mean, like, this will just be the state. Like, you'll have a short form URL, and you can share the artifacts, and that's very cool. So I totally see where this is going, and the level of interactivity you'll be able to do is pretty crazy. Because I was thinking about it, I could actually, I had QR codes in here, and so people could take photos, and it was. So, what I ended up doing is I said, take all the QR codes and make them active links.
Oh, so if you don't have your phone, if you're on the desktop, you can just click on it.
You can just click on it,
but a lot of people might not know that, because you are demonstrating your tech prowess, and you're like, oh, I understand that. Like, from a user experience, you might not want to be on your laptop and then have to use your phone to do it. You might just want to click on it.
Right. Because you want to do it on the laptop versus on your phone.
Yeah. That's the human element right there, baby.
So, but it was really nice because I was able to do it pretty quickly. I said, take all the QR codes, take their URLs and make them active links, because they were passive. They were literally just QR codes until I did that. So now, when you see this, you'll be able to click on it and it'll take you to those URLs.
This is great.
So
kudos to you for living in the future.
Well, thank you for bringing it up. It's one of those things where, sometimes you don't think about it. You're like, okay, well, the PowerPoint is done.
Yeah.
And I will say PowerPoint did have an accessibility option.
They do.
And I did run it.
You can.
But the image thing was still like, I had, I think, like, whatever, 15 or 16 images that I still had to go in and manually update the accessibility for.
Yes, but AI can do that for you.
In PowerPoint?
No.
Oh.
When you make it a website.
When you make it a website. Which is what I... Yeah.
Okay. And the other nice thing is, like, I don't particularly enjoy using PowerPoint on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's so small. It's hard to use. It takes so long to load.
Right.
But a website's instantaneous. So living in the future.
And I think the other nice thing about if you can host it somewhere is that it can update. It's a living document versus a passive document.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I really like about it. And you bring it up with Google Docs a lot, like embedding your character in your email signature.
Yeah.
It references your...
Yeah, so I can change that image in Google Docs, and then if someone gets my email, it's the new version of me.
Right. Like, to me, I'm like, that's... So you will see me using... I think that's a really cool idea, because technically if they're on their email, they're online.
Yeah.
So that offline element is...
Yeah, and that was actually for a conference committee I was on. We made one graphic and put it on Google Doc or Google Drive. And it was like, the conference is in 10 days. And every day I'd log in and change it and be like 9 days, 8 days, 7 days. So even if you looked at an email that was sent 3 days ago, it would be accurate.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So I definitely, I agree with that assessment. I think that HTML is the way to go. And I wonder if you had a great prompt for our challenge. Yeah. I wonder if you could include that in the show notes. So because I knew to say, I want CSS, JavaScript, and HTML
and accessible and responsive. Yeah.
But if people aren't aware of that, it might be nice to have that prompt.
I will put this prompt in the show notes, theimmersivlens.com, folks.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, let's talk about, and should we talk about RAG?
Yes.
Okay. So RAG is the Retrieval-Augmented Generation, right?
Yes. So tell us more.
Okay. So the concept here is that the retrieval aspect is that it gives you a mechanism to upload your files, your PDFs, your databases, your websites, your internal wikis, whatever it is. And then the augmented is being able to take all of this information and augment that data to be more specific to what you are looking for based on that knowledge base. And then the last thing is generating an answer based on those two things.
Yes. And so you're using the intelligence in the genius of, say, a local language model to exclusively parse the documents from.
Right. And although I'm talking about local, you still have that in Google.
Notebook LM.
Notebook LM.
Yeah. Fantastic software.
And now they're doing it, I guess, in the form of projects in Claude and in.
I think ChatGPT has projects.
has projects as well.
Yeah.
So you can upload this knowledge base that they can pull from.
Yes. And I think Notebook LM is a much better tool if you are looking at doing something where you want your answers to be exclusively related to what you upload. Just because Notebook LM makes it a lot easier to, for instance, say you have 20 documents uploaded.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be just PDFs or Word files. It can be a website. It can be a YouTube video. And they all have checkboxes. So you can uncheck them in Notebook LM and ask, say you only check 3 of them.
Right.
And when you ask a question or do the studio generation, it will only ping those 3 sources. So you can control it at a more granular level than you could, say, in Cloud Projects or ChatGPT.
Gotcha. Okay. And so I agree. I think what this does is it creates a LLM for you specifically on your documents.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll come back to this when we talk about local LLMs, and I'll talk about my thoughts on that. But in general, you're saying that you're going to make, your prediction is you're going to make your LLMs, whether it's the cloud-based services or local LLMs, more personalized by using a RAG system.
Yeah, I think especially if you have a small business, it makes sense. Or if you were doing research, if you're a learner at a college, or if you're like in almost every domain, I can imagine an environment where you're like, oh, I'm working on this one project and it has like these YouTube videos, but it also has these slideshows, and I also have these PDFs, and I also have my own notes that I want to upload. And so you can have 3, 4, 5 different notebooks in Notebook LM or projects,
right, if
you're using one of the chatbot LLMs. But yeah, I think this just gives you like you control. And again, this goes back to the human in the lead. You control what the sources are. You control where you get your answers from. And one of the nice things about Notebook LM, and I don't know that Claude does this, and I'm sure that ChatGPT doesn't, is Notebook LM will give you it will give you footnotes. It'll be like, when you ask it a question, hey, here's where I got the answer. And then it will go right to the document where it got the answer from.
Yeah.
So it's way easier to verify the authenticity of it, or the accuracy of it.
Yeah. And I really like the Notebook LLM because it, the Notebook LM, right?
Yeah, it's so confusing.
Yeah. The different output it gives you on that data. So I'm going to be creating a course this summer, and in there, I'm going to be using Claude as a base, but I'm thinking about also using Notebook LM so I could get the different modalities for different learners. So like the podcast output.
Yeah. And we should talk about what Notebook LM does.
Oh, so go ahead. If you want to touch on Notebook LM.
So it has, they call it the studio in it, and it is a media production gallery. Maybe they call it the gallery, actually. I think it's the studio. But you can check which sources you want to use in this, but you can create a podcast, the audio overview. You can create slides. You can create a video overview, including like the new cinematic one. You can create a mind map. You can create reports, like executive reports. You can create flashcards. You can create quizzes. You can create infographics. You can create data tables. So all these with the press of a button. And it is a little bit more sophisticated, because when you go to, say, quiz, you can give it a prompt. You can say, do you want fewer questions? Do you want standard? So there's some customization.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, it does a really good job. One thing I don't like about it is once the video is created, it's not like you can edit that video, and that must be killing you.
Yes. And that's why when you mentioned Google Video, I was wondering if some point they're going to integrate and block out layers so then you can.
I think they will.
Yeah.
I see all these technologies. So Google Vids lets you edit the videos, the video creation suite. So, and the same thing with the slide decks. Like the slide decks didn't used to be editable, but now Google Slides lets you edit each slide individually. So I think that we're going to see more control with the end product, but we're not quite there yet.
And I just want to kind of refresh everyone's memory. We did low barrier tools.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those tools was Google Vids. And what that allows you to do is just use the webcam or any mechanism for capturing video. It can capture your screen. It can capture you. It captures your audio. And it breaks it all out in different layers. So to your point, let's say we are showing a video of a screenshot or something, but then the screenshots are updated. We can just redo the screenshots.
Yeah. Like when software, the interface changes. Yeah. Then you can keep the narrative, keep all the text, and you just change that one like little thing. So easy to change.
Right. So, and it's updated and it's a living document.
Yeah.
So like if you have links or if you embedded it into an HTML page.
Oh my gosh. It all comes back
right?
to HTML.
Then it'll just update. So you don't have to do anything outside of update that video.
Yeah. It's wild, right?
So I thought that it's similar to the name, your profile in the email. Like it can, it's just living.
I should put I was just thinking, can I put a GIF in there? Like, can I have an animated avatar?
Oh, like waving or something?
Well, I want to have like my head turning into like Iron Man or something like that.
Nice. And it's interesting because we had, there's infographic in here, which is a beta right now. And it's funny because we had Deborah Orloff in here talking about her session and how she pivoted to ChatGPT image. Was it the image model 2?
Yeah, image 2.
Image Gen 2.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I wonder if now they're going to be updating that in here as well.
Because I believe this is all powered by Nano Banana. But I'm looking at the infographic right now, and I can choose, like, do I want clay? Do I want sketch note? Do I want anime? Do I want instructional? It's got it oh my gosh, they have like a Lego one. I'm doing an infographic for Legos.
Building blocks. Watch out.
Yes, not the yeah. So this is actually really cool. That you can tell this has the nano banana feel. So your first homework assignment is take something that you're doing in ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Anthropic Claude and have it export it as a website. That's their first homework.
Yep. Second homework, you can use Notebook LLM or any of the platforms. Feed it documents that are related to whatever you are doing or you're interested in knowing more about.
Yeah, that's great. I don't even consider that's a great learning mechanism.
Yeah, and even if you do Notebook LLM, it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
And you could just upload a document that you have and say create an infographic in Legos.
Yeah.
Right?
Building blocks.
Legos is trademarked.
Legos is trademarked.
Okay, so the next thing we'll talk about is there anything else about RAG? And we'll touch on RAG in a minute.
Yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand with
the local LLMs.
Yeah. Should we talk? We may as well just go into that, right?
Yeah. So when you talk about local LLMs, I think that for a while this was unattainable.
So when you maybe just explain, like set the table of what local LLMs are.
Yeah. So when we talk about local LLM, that means that we're going to install basically one of these learning language models, large language models in our device. And we don't need an internet connection, that we can just run it all on our device. And so we don't need to go through any third party outside of the setup.
Yes. And so the advantages, I can think of like one or two advantages.
Yes. So I think that there is a few advantages when we're talking about it. And the advantages that I know are privacy and data control.
Because you don't want, say, like ChatGPT looking at what you're typing.
Right. Or learning on anything that you are doing. If it's sensitive information, if it's something proprietary, you want to keep it within the organization. You don't want to put it out to everybody. Sometimes
we call that a data lake in the biz, but I think it is important to call out and name PII because we say that a lot, and it's personally identifiable information. So that'll be your name and, let's say, your social security number or your Bitcoin wallet, or, well, that's actually not PII. It's just not a good idea to put that in your model, but, or like health stuff, that's PHI, personal health information.
Right.
So a lot of times when you're dealing with, say, like learners' grades, we don't want to put their names and their grades and their social security number in ChatGPT.
Right. Because we don't want them to train on it and we don't want it out in general public.
Yeah.
So I think that's one really big aspect of it. And I'm going to touch on that in a minute. The other big one is no API costs. So one of the things that I realize that people don't realize is that there's these things called tokens. And when you enter text into a prompt, those are tokens that you're sending out for them to work on. So I break it down into three forms of tokens. There is the input token, which is your initial prompt.
And a token is kind of like almost a word. So if you have like 20 words in your prompt, it might be like 25 tokens or something.
Correct. And then there is the thinking tokens. So this is what that people don't realize is, like, when you're doing like a deep think versus a fast think, you're burning through tokens, because as it's generating and researching and all those prompts you're seeing, those are tokens that are being charged
as an invisible cost.
Yes. And then the final thing is your output token. So what is it producing for you? What is it showing you? So that is also additional tokens that are being generated.
Yeah. And we're starting to see models charge for more. So like Fable, when it was available to us, and that's another good reason to talk about local LLMs.
Yeah.
But when Fable is available to us, it costs more tokens. But after the free trial, you have to pay for that model. And so I think we're starting to see compute shift from free or subsidized to now you got to pay to play. And so having a local LLM, like you said, it gets rid of that cost.
Right.
You just have to pay. How much so if you're on the YouTubes, you can see this.
The NVIDIA Spark.
Which is like a local LLM device.
Yep. It's a small, it's very much like the Mac Mini.
Yeah, it's like 6 inches by 6 inches by maybe like an inch and a half.
Yeah. But it is around $4,500, but it's got unified memory. So the memory that's being used in the video processing and in the memory are shared like a Mac. So Mac has unified memory as well.
And that gives you like a quicker, snappier
response, right? Because what happens is the local LLMs, they get stored in your RAM. So we're not gonna get into too much details, but there are different parameter models, size parameter models. So if you have, and it's not a 1-for-1, but let's say you have a 8 billion parameter model, you want at least like 8 gigs of RAM available, so it can be stored in memory, so it's quick access.
Gotcha.
One of the things people don't realize is that, let's say I only had 16 gigs of RAM and I download a 32 billion parameter model. What happens is only 16 gigs is stored in RAM, and then the rest is going to be in memory. It slows. It's very, very, very slow because now it's not having that quick access to the data.
Which is why when you're downloading models, and there's all sorts of different places you can go to, you can get like the 2 billion, the 4 billion, like Gemma, which is kind of the small Gemini.
Right.
They have a 2 billion and 4 billion, but they also have a 32 billion.
Right.
And so like if you have a 2 or a 4, that might be good for your mobile phone. But if you have 32, that might be good for the Spark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll get into that in a little bit. I know maybe we do a whole segment on local LLMs, but
it's the future, man. Living in the future.
But I think the other big thing about that is that, you know, you have those Macs that have unified memory. So they share all the same memory. So with the processor and the GPU, like with a Windows system right now, what happens is it uses whatever RAM you have, and then it goes to the GPU, or it'll go GPU and then it'll go to the RAM, but it's dissipated between different areas in your computer.
So you have a performance hit,
right?
Which is probably noticeable.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. It's quite noticeable. And so, you know, you just adding a prompt and then getting a response rather than 5 seconds, it could be like 5 minutes. So, you know, you're going to balance that actual size of your model that you're using for what you need. You don't necessarily need $120 billion billion parameter model. If you're just doing a simple HTML page, for instance. So I think that when we talk about local LLMs, I think there are 3 tiers. Excuse me. I call it 3 tiers of the local LLM. There's the low barrier one, which is something you actually brought up before, but it's the AI Google Edge.
Oh yeah, which is an app in both iOS and Android Play Store.
Yes.
So you can download it to your phone.
And in there, you can download a bunch of different models, and you don't need internet connection. You can play with it. And again, I'm not going to go into all the detail, but different models are good for different things. So you have to look at if it's vision, if it's different, if it's coding based.
Yeah, so it's not like the
tools.
multimodal, like go to Claude and do everything.
Right, exactly.
And one of people, ask me, what's the big deal, Dave? Why would you want it on your phone? And part of it is like for privacy. But my wife hiked the Pacific Crest Trail 2 summers ago, and because of the forest fires, there was like some trails that were closed. So we're going back actually next week to hike in Oregon. And as I'm hiking, I can now download one of these and have a conversation with it as I'm thinking about our micro credential in the fall.
Right.
As I'm designing it, now I can actually design it.
Because you don't need internet access.
Don't need the internet.
It's all local.
It's all local.
Yeah.
But one of the other reasons I alluded to earlier about Fable is that the government seemingly can now say you can't have this model anymore, people. And then it's just gone at the drop of a hat. Like you were literally using Fable when Anthropic shut it down.
And I got the big pop-up window.
Yeah. So like that's yet another reason is like data sovereignty of having your own model at home.
Yes. And so I think that there's a lot to be said. I think that the next tier from the AI Edge Gallery would be something called LM Studio, which is a software you can install on your on any computer, and then you can run the local models, download it from its repositories, and then run whatever works on your system. And I think that those are pretty good as well. You can hook those up into your coding platform. So now if I wanted to code locally, if I didn't want to burn tokens coding, I could use that. And then the last one I'll say is something called Open Web UI, which is really, I think that's like the top, I'll say the highest level of local LLMs for most consumers. And that is, I can basically run that on the Spark system, and I can create a custom LLM based on one of the local LLMs I download. So for instance, I downloaded 120 billion parameter model.
What?
And then I created a workspace, put all local documents, let's say
It's like a RAG almost.
A RAG, yep. I put all the and I did a fictional database of 250 students with their class schedules, with their names, with all of so I created a fictional database with 250 random students, and I was able to put that in the RAG. I was able to put our AI policy in the RAG. I was able to put all our policies around grading.
Yeah.
And then I can create a tool that allows it to go through the data and give us analysis. And then this is the coolest part of this is then I can set it up for users. So I could set up a user you, and in the parameters for your account, you are not allowed to go to web. So I can uncheck web. So the only thing is when you access this, you only have access to this.
So multiple users can use this device at the same time?
Right.
Oh
Using
my gosh.
a local host. And again, that's very technical, but it's just something you would put in a browser.
So 2 questions for you, Paul. One, I like see the value in this now. And again, if you're not on the YouTube, you should, I guess I'll put a picture of this in the show notes. But 2 questions. One, is this something, when you're talking about it, I'm like, oh, you need to know what you're doing with technology. What's the level of the barrier for this?
This one is going to be higher right now,
Okay.
but my understanding is because it uses Linux.
Okay.
So if you're not familiar with Linux, it does a lot of terminal. It asks you to do a lot of terminal entries.
Yeah.
I think low barrier is LM Studio and AI Edge.
Because you basically like install software, download the model, good to go.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
You don't have to really think about it too much.
So that's their homework model or homework assignment?
100%. Everyone should use the AI Edge Gallery. One of the things I really like about it is there's one that is a note taker. So you can actually just hit record and you can talk, and then it will give you a summary of everything you just spoke about. And it's all local. So it's not.
That's really nice for especially like government meetings or executive sessions. Wow,
or even if you had a thought, like you were walking down the trail and you're like, I was wondering if we built a RAG model with a database that and then it'll summarize and it'll, you can use that summary for execution.
Oh, I definitely am going to experiment with that. The second thing is, Paul, are you willing to create a course for hosting LLMs?
You see, I hesitantly will say yes, and I put the hesitantly in there because now this is documented,
and that's your homework assignment.
That's right.
And by the way, if you are following like local models, so Gemma is made by Google, and they have a few different ones, but the hottest new one is GLM 5.2, which is seriously, people are saying it really performs well. So there's always these new models that are coming out that are free. So really, you only need a $4,500 computer.
And you could use the Mac Minis. That's what
true. You can use the Mac Mini.
And I think that it's something that is going to keep growing and growing. And I think one of the other things that I just want to touch on is, a high token element is media development in learning, in like image generation, video generation. They burn through tokens like crazy. And there's a setup where you can set up it's called Comfy UI. And it's a web-based node. So nodes are little blocks. And there's a block for image input, a block for the LLM for image generation, and a block for LLM for video generation of that image generation. And so it connects all of these nodes and it'll generate images. So it can do, and video. So it can do a lot of these things that we're seeing in like Flow or in...
And so even today, we might not be able to do the Google Flow, the video editing here, but like maybe tomorrow, the local model.
Yeah. And I'll show you like the difference. I did a little, using Flow, I created a little Hawaiian shirt robot for our Hawaiian shirt with Jeff Dugan.
Yep.
and I did it on the local model.
Oh, really?
As well, and I'll give you for the notes. I'll give you
Put that in the show notes too.
The video output was close, but it didn't. In one prompt, I was able to get in Flow. I put the image of the nano banana generated robot, and I said, hush, point at sign, have the sign turn on, and it did it first go.
Yeah,
I did it on here, and you'll see it's still not turning on the sign. Like, it doesn't recognize that it's the sign, but it's the worst it's going to be. And I could have probably picked another video model because there's a bunch of video models that I could download.
And that's going to be one of the trade-offs in the new world of like AI judgment, is like knowing which model to use and when.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, if you are an organization, you're paying $30 to $50 a month per license for, say, like Copilot, and you could spend $4,500 for this and have people just like log into it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't stress test this yet, so I don't know the maximum number of people that we could have on it or anything like that. But I think it's definitely something, if you have an IT team and something that they want to explore, I think it's definitely worth exploring. And we're starting to run out of time, so I wanted to touch on your last point, which was agential workflow. What does that mean?
So agential AI is on the horizon. It's kind of like right around the corner, and it's where you can delegate multi-step tasks to AI. So right now it's great if you ask it, hey, generate an image, boom, done. But imagine saying like, hey, look, AI, I'm creating a coffee shop. What I need is a logo. Here's the specifications for that. Then I need you to put it on the website. Oh, and by the way, here's my credentials to log into my provider. So you can do that. And then while you're at it, could you make some social media posts about like this new product we're having or whatever? So it's kind of like an employee, and that exists today, but you need to have some technical acumen. But we're starting to see a number of services that are approaching that. So I want to give you 3 examples right now.
Okay.
One is in Google Gemini. The first 2 are in Google Gemini. You can go into this thing called the Gemini Daily Brief, and it will go through all your email. It will go through things on your Google Drive, and it will give you a brief of and you'll go through your calendar. And so every morning you get a brief. It's like, hey, here's the things to do. So in this particular case, this is a lightweight agent, I would say. It's going through 2 different things and then aggregating all the information and saying like, hey, oh, and by the way, I see you have a birthday coming up for Charlie next weekend. So like, keep that on your radar. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty nice. But the thing that I'm really want to share is called Gemini Scheduled Actions, which is also in Google Gemini. And this is free. You might need a paid account. I'm not sure. But you can say, so you write a prompt, and I wrote a fairly lengthy prompt. I actually had AI write the prompt for me. But I want to see all the news articles actually, I'll give you a fictional one. So let's say I have a company, Lakeshore Goods or Lakeshore Made in the heart of the Finger Lakes, and we sell, trinkets and souvenirs and stuff like that. I might say to Google Scheduled Actions, like, go every morning at 4 a.m, look at all the newspaper articles about things that have happened or things that are coming, like music acts to CMAC or something like that. And then what I want you to do is aggregate all of this into a PDF and send me the PDF. So in the morning, I can just read it and I know exactly what's going on in my community. So those are 2 kind of small ways to play with agential AI. But I think the real big way that people can do it now, and you do need a paid account for Claude, is Claude Cowork, where it can take over your computer and do what you normally do with your computer. So you can say like, oh, I need you to go, like, I'm a photographer and here's an album of wedding photos. Can you go through there and divide them up into like group shots versus dancing versus whatever, and put tags in them? Oh, and rename all the files with the tags in them. Oh, and while you're at it, put it in different folders. And then when you're done, upload it to my repository. So it can do all this stuff for you. So those are 3 lightweight, and actually I shouldn't say Cowork. Cowork is a middleweight agential AI.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting area because I'm just starting to get into Cowork. One of the things that we talk about in a previous one is Claude, OpenClaw. And although that's kind of like the scheduler.
Yeah, it's also an unhinged,
Yeah. There's no guardrails on that one.
Yeah. Although people have been putting guardrails on.
Right. But I think that it's one of those things where like I feel more comfortable trying Cowork, and I'm starting the setup process. And it's interesting because it says, what are the things that you like to do? And it actually gave me suggestions for productivity on things that I might want to try.
That's cool.
And one of the things that was interesting, you mentioned the photos, is it has the option to retouch portrait photos.
What?
So if I'm a photographer, I can upload photos, and technically it does Adobe retouch portraits.
Oh my God. Also, it's using a skills connector to.
I think so. I haven't played with it yet. It's plugins. And so it seems like if I have an Adobe product, it might actually be able to open it up and do some automated tasks. And I agree. I think this is really an interesting avenue.
Yeah. And one of the things to keep on the horizon, especially if you're Microsoft users, is a product coming out called Microsoft Scout, which is, I think it is OpenClaw with Microsoft's guardrails put on it.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be like Claude Co-work.
Or Schedule in Google.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's going to be doing all this work for you.
And this is all like full circle, right? We saw all the software dev releases, and we're seeing that iOS and Mac is going to have local LLMs and these schedulers. We see Windows is doing the same thing.
Yeah. And since we're talking about downloadable, like offline, open source software, there's one called Hermes, which is an agential scheduler. So now if you have a local LLM on your computer and Hermes, you can now make agents out of those LLMs.
That's really, yeah.
And you don't need to have the local models. You can still download Hermes and run it and then just connect it to your Claude or your Gemini or your ChatGPT.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an area that I'm going to play with. And I know that in your closing remarks at the convening, you mentioned that the barrier is in the middle right now to try to get into this. But as the months progress, the barrier will be lowered, and it will be a low barrier entry for anybody who wants to create a simple task.
Yep.
And I know like Claude, when I just started using the co-work, and one of the first things it says is point me to a folder and I can clean it up for you. So it's like, it's trying to get me to like
understand
like this is how you could use it. And
it's like onboarding in a video game.
Yes. So, so I agree with your assessment on the 4 things. So agential workflow, output to HTML, RAG, and local LLMs. I think that those are all areas that are going to grow and be helpful for many people in the future.
Yeah. So our homework assignment for people listening, for agential AI, if you have Gemini, go like check out the scheduled actions. I think that's an easy barrier. For HTML, take any model you're using and just have it output some one of your conversations in HTML. For RAG, what do we say? Oh no.
For RAG, use Notebook LM or any of your models and create either a project with it, or with Notebook LM, it's free. So you can just upload one PDF document or PowerPoint and have it create an infographic for you in building blocks, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, I did that. And Notebook LM actually lives in the Gemini sidebar now too.
Oh, so it's even easier, even lower barrier.
And then what are we recommending for homework for the local LLMs?
The AI to download AI Edge, Google Edge, and run a local LLM on your phone. I think that's the easiest, low barrier. And then if you want to elevate to the next level, download LM Studio on your computer.
Or Olama, which is essentially the same thing. Right.
I think with Olama, though, it's terminal based. So you're going to it's going to start getting a little bit more technical.
Yep.
But LM Studio is the software, and it's easier to install but again, up to you. If you want to explore terminal based stuff, I think it's important because the next step would be obviously web UI. So.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have today. We got our Toy Story summary. We got a local LLM discussions. So my name is Paul Engin.
And I'm Dave Ghidiu. If you enjoyed the conversation today, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Let's be careful out there, folks.
And share it with a friend or colleague or enemy. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and thanks for looking through the Immersive Lens with us.
This episode was engineered by Jeff Kidd.
And I want to say Hugh's back there setting stuff up.
I did see Hugh, and Hugh. Jeff and Hugh.
Recorded at Finger Lakes Community College Podcast Studios, located in beautiful Canandaigua, New York, in the heart of the Finger Lakes region, offering more than 55 degrees, certificates, micro-credentials, and workforce training programs.
Thank you to Public Relations and Communications Marketing and the FLX AI Hub.
Eager to delve into passion, discover exciting and immersive opportunities at flcc.flcc.flcc. I don't understand. At www.flcc.edu.
Never gets old. As part of our mission at FLCC, we are committed to making education accessible, innovative, and aligned with the needs of both learners and employers.
The views expressed in this podcast are those of the host, guests, and do not necessarily reflect the official position of Finger Lakes Community College.
Music by Den from Pixabay.
I want to, before we close out, thank Jeff Dugan for the impromptu and Jeff Kidd. The Jeff Squared. Jeff, don't you guys have a name? You guys were going to take over our podcast.
We haven't decided yet.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's terrifying.
Not to mention the Ghidius are working their way in too.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Is it going to be like the Hatfields and McCoys?
That's right. Well, everyone, this is the Immersive Lens.
It has been too long. It has been too long. Thank you.
All right.
Excuse me.
He needed that release.
Thank you. I have missed that.